From Foxborough, I'm Alex Barth, and he's Evan Lazar for CLNS Media. And it's that time of year again, Evan. It seems like with the start of football season comes the Channel Media Market and Research Survey, which kind of scopes Boston sports fans' perspective on how their teams are doing. It's all over the region, and obviously with everything that's happened in the Patriots this last year, the fans' attitudes, they're changing.
Yeah, they're changing, and now all of a sudden Bill Belichick cannot be trusted by a lot less people than he was trusted a year ago. This is ridiculous. Like, you would think that sometimes you're in a Cleveland Browns market or Detroit Lions. Bill Belichick hasn't had a losing season in 19 years, and people are coming out with this stuff that they don't trust him anymore.
Okay, before you tear in, let's just look at the numbers first so we have a reference point. Belichick nearly unanimously was the most trusted sports executive, so coach, GM, etc., in the Boston area last year's survey. Takes a 30% drop this year, still at 70, so still far and away the most trusted. But again, the 30% drop, and I know you're going to say that fans should still trust Belichick. In Belichick, we trust, right? That's the mantra. And yes, the guy is still the greatest football mind in the history of the planet, but isn't there something to be said with the Malcolm Butler situation, and you could even say with the Jimmy Garoppolo situation? What do you want them to do? To trust him more? He couldn't go up from 100. Are you not surprised that some people trust him a little less?
I'm not surprised at all by the survey. I've been pumping this the whole time, that basically since the Super Bowl, how ridiculous this all is. All right. I mean, I understand that people are upset that the Patriots lost the Super Bowl. I understand that people are upset that he benched Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. But again, there are 12 teams in NFL history that have never won the Super Bowl. There's 4 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl.
Those coaches, those GMs probably aren't the most trusted in their cities. Why should they be? They're probably not near 70% if those cities have a similar survey. It's still incredibly high, and the fact of the matter is, Bill Belichick set himself up for this when in a good way, when the expectation year after year is you win a championship and you do what he did in February, yes, people are going to look at you differently. I think that's fair. I think when he benched Malcolm Butler, he opened himself up to the constant questioning, to the criticism, because it was a bizarre decision. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. It was bizarre.
No, I mean, I think we are talking about it a lot, but I think that the main thing about the survey is that the numbers are a little bit skewed because the Celtics and the Red Sox have been so successful in the last calendar year. So I understand voting for Danny Ainge or voting for Dave Dombrowski and Alex Cora and that brain trust there because those teams have been so successful. But my main thing here is that everybody's complaining. Meanwhile, 30 other teams were sitting at home watching the Super Bowl just like you and I were, right, on our couches. And that's the point of the matter is that they didn't have a losing season. They didn't miss the playoffs. They didn't lose in the divisional round to the Tennessee Titans. They lost in the Super Bowl to a damn good Philadelphia Eagles team.
Bill Belichick has never been measured by losing seasons because they don't happen. The status quo is winning season,
what are we talking
get the
about
first
here?
round bye, win the division. So by Bill Belichick standards, he had a bad year. Can you not disagree with that?
I think that by
Did Bill Belichick not have a bad year last year?
Had, how could you say he had a bad year? They won 13. They went 13-3 and
for
made the Super
any other
Bowl.
coach. For any other coach, that's a career year. On the scope of Bill Belichick's portfolio of work, when you look at when they go back and they look at Bill Belichick's career and rank his performance year by year, will that not be on the lower end? We throw out the Cleveland years. Will that not be on the lower end?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about this a lot last year about how bad that defense was. Meanwhile, the Patriots dragged that 32nd ranked defense in DVOA all the way to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis last year.
DVOA. So Bill Belichick doesn't care about DVOA.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care about its points allowed. Where were they in points
Fourth.
allowed?
They
had a good defense.
So exactly. So now they had a good defense. They had a good offense. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
And they didn't win because of a decision he made.
His decision
if they don't win this game, if he plays Butler and they still lose, he's probably still near 100%.
Right.
Then I'm on the same page as you. If he did everything he could and they lost, you shouldn't trust him less. But he didn't do everything he could have. He could have played Malcolm Butler.
Okay, well, to wrap this up, I'll say this. The two decisions that, really I think are kind of hitting Belichick hard in this survey are obviously the Malcolm Butler decision and the Jimmy Garoppolo trade.
Which, for the record, I think he handled fine.
Right, so those two moves right there, or those two decisions by the brain trust, obviously, in hindsight, are not working out the way that everybody wants them to. I get it, but all I'm saying is let's have some perspective, right? Like, it's not like the Patriots went 6-10 last year and everything's blowing up. It's like an apocalypse here that everything's going wrong, yet meanwhile, they're still favorites to win the AFC East. They're still favorites in Vegas to have the most wins in the regular season, and they're still the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. So I don't know what we're discussing here, why Bill Belichick all of a sudden, we just talked to him, doesn't seem like he's lost a step to me.
Whether you think it's fair or not, that people trust him less. It's clear that he has bridges to mend in New England, whether rightfully so or otherwise. Yeah. You know what fixes everything, Evan?
Winning.
Winning,
which
that's
is all
right.
He's
so
done
we'll
for
see.
19 years.
We're 2 weeks away. If he can keep doing it, this will all go away real quick. If not, who knows? Maybe another 30% drop next year. We'll have to wait and see. Until then, he's Evan Lazar. I'm Alex Barth for CLNS.